Welcome. This screencast is about Holdybot. Holdybot is an application that helps you manage your parking spaces or desk spaces in your office. So what's the problem actually? So the problem is that you might have a lot of users, employees, and just a few parking spaces, which was our problem. And we needed a system that is fair. That means that we need a system that assigns the parking spaces to people through the week, month, or whole year. And anytime the space actually is assigned or not assigned to people, that people are actually okay with that and happy about it. It needs to be fully automated, which means that no one should be doing such assignment manually. It needs to be simple and easy to use. No one should be spending too much time with tampering with the system. And actually it needs to have some abilities for super user, for example like office managers, to do some changes on the fly. And that's actually a Holdybot. So a Holdybot, actually on the internet on holdybot.com, is an application that can do that for you. So before we jump into that, if you have any questions, there is a documentation which is located on wiki on our GitHub pages. There's an issue tracker, so if you have some questions, feel free to ask on that issue tracker, and feel free to follow us on Twitter, which should have some latest news. Okay, so as the first thing, you need to create your own app. So I will create one for myself. You need to just check that you are not a bot. Yeah, and it should be okay. So now that application for us was created. Before you can actually use it, you need to activate it. So check your email box. There should be a new message that you need to open, and you need to click on this link. And since now you can log into your application. We don't store any user information like usernames and passwords. So the only way how to log in is through the social login through some other site, or you can use email token login, which will generate a token and it will send it to your email. It's one-time token, and once you click on it, you can go into the application. So let's just use some social login. So now I'm logged in into the application, and as a user I want to do my stuff. So there is some predefined thing. There is some parking name auto-generated and a single calendar for us. So I just opened that calendar, and what I can see here are dates. And I, as a user, anytime I want, I can make a reservation request. So for example, I want to park tomorrow, and then on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday. So now I made 3 reservation requests. They are yellow. They mean that they are in some state which is not that properly defined. It's some future reservation, not an actual assignment of a parking space. So, and what will happen now? Once a day, Holdybot actually checks, and once a day you can see this border here on the Sunday. This means that's the current day. And once a day, Holdybot checks the next day after current day, reads all the people here, all their reservation, and does the assignment and resolution who can park where, when, and where actually. So for that you need to actually understand our settings. So feel free to go to the settings, and then the last thing you can see the definition for areas. So we have a single area defined with some name and with some slots. So currently auto-generated is a single slot, which means there is one generated parking space which has a name slot 1. So now there is a bank hour thing. As you can see, I will change it to 45 and will resave it. So in 2 minutes it should actually recompute or actually compute the next day for us. That bank hour is actually the date time, or actually the timestamp where the computation of the next day should happen. And how the computation is done. So basically Holdybot, whenever there are reservation requests in past, it will look into them, and because the system tries to be fair, it will decide that the next parking day will be parking someone that park in last 30 days least. So before actually the computation will happen, I will just show you what can happen if you will try to click on some day in the past, so nothing happened. And if you will click on current day, it will make your new record actually green. The green means that the space was assigned. And this actually day, today, Sunday, as you can see, is not yellow because there was actually a free space and it could be automatically assigned to me, and it did it. So for current days, it's done immediately. And here you can see a slot name, which is the parking space name, and also what happened once I click on that, an email notification. Okay, it will come in a second. Yeah, an email notification will be generated. So, and it tells me that I will be parking on my parking name, and there's on that day I will have a slot 1. So immediately I'm checking my phone and I do know where I should park on Sunday. If I will go back and just refresh the page, the recomputation for the next day already happened. So that's for Monday. And okay, so now the border moved. So it's for Monday. And this was because there was some background job that actually did it for the next day. And that's it. And now how the system does it. So it always looks into the people score. Score is written here. So if once I won, so I was assigned a space, I'm given some amount of points, and the system actually tracks all that points for all the people. And the next day, for a Tuesday, it will check if there will be someone else trying to compete for actually that parking space. It will check the last 30 days and will pick that other user because I have assigned these negative points and he has actually the advantage. So there is some movement in the calendar, like a day or for 5 days or 7 days back and forth, so you can play the way as you want, or if you have a white screen, anything what do you need. And that's basically it. When you make a reservation request which is not already processed, you can actually cancel it. When there is a reservation request that was in the past, you can do nothing about it. When there is a place assigned to you, you can actually give up on that parking space because you might realize like in the morning that you won't be able to reach the office, so you can give up. It will make you blocked. And actually if there will be any other user here listed who weren't assigned a space, they will receive an email, a notification, and it will tell them that they might still compete for that parking space that is actually now free. So this is the basics. I will now show you how it can look when there are more people. So it might be something like this. There can be even more people, and as you know, the screen is becoming a bit more, I don't know, crowded. And there are some UX things that might help you. So the first thing, the color, if there is your record in the list below the date, the color of the header is the same as color of your record there. So the red one is that means that I'm already blocked on that day. I can't do anything, so you can see it also in the header. The brown one, it does mean that I did complete it, but a space was not assigned to me, but to someone else. The gray one, that's actually for the mode that I will show in a second. And the yellow one, it's actually that future reservation. If you are blind, you can see there are some icons, so you can distinguish the colors with that icons a bit. You don't need to then look for yourself in the table, you just know your state from the color on the header. And that's actually it for a calendar. So we saw a score. You can see there are more records here, so it shows the sums. We also have some picture for analytics. So here you see that the amount of free spaces that might be taken by people, and the black one is amount of actually taken spaces. So you can then decide on that chart. You might need to buy some other spaces, or whatever you want. So let's just jump into the settings, what you can actually define. So when we created an application, I put there my email, and since then I am an application admin, and only application admin can go to settings, but you might need to have some other user to be a secondary application admin, so you just write their email here. A bank hour, that's actually that time where the computation for next day happens. You need to specify the right time zone so it's handled properly. Allow visitors. And now I'm logged in my account, but you might be in a situation that there might be people on a board in calendar that are not from your company, so and you actually can allow that they might still use the application. You can also block some users to be able, or allow some users to be able to use your application, or even just by a email suffix like a domain, or you will just write there all their whole emails. So, and the most interesting part is the definition for a parking area. So a parking area, it's like a name of the parking. So it might be like a Berlin office, and it can be like level 1, and it might be level 1 in some building, and then level 2 probably, or I don't know, in a building C, building B. So you can have any names you want. You can specify an admin for just that particular parking area. I will show in a second what does it mean. You can specify webhooks for Microsoft Teams and Slack, so all the messages that you have seen in an email, they are actually might be sent, or not all, but only that assignment might be sent also to your group chat software. And it might happen that you just don't use the parking spaces on weekend or some other day, so you can just disable them and you will not see them on the calendar. Yeah, and then you just define the parking spaces themselves. So here we have two actually parking areas, it's called. One is like parking, and this one was desk, and that means that you can use also the application not just for parkings but actually for anything else. And we found out that it really can help with desk management. So just imagine that you are in company. The company is 2 times bigger, like each year. You have some amount of desks in your office. Your company is mainly the remote first or nearly remote only, so most of them are still free. But all the people have their table. So when you want to hire anyone else, you actually, even though there are still like 50 tables in your office, nearly free all the time, you just don't have that their new table. So what you will do, you will buy a new office, or how to manage it. You can actually define and manage in this application uh, the tables as a or the tables and the desks as a shareable, and you can do it the same way as we have seen for a slot 1 on the previous parking. So let's just define free shared desks, and they do not have an owner, and this makes them shareable. Or you can have desks that have even names and their owners. And we will see in a second what this exactly mean, because I will now set myself as an owner of friend's desk. And the last thing you can customize in settings is actually tags. And tags are useful when you want to select actually a desk where you would like to sit, but it's not the actual desk. We don't allow to just choose the desk, but you can select a type of desk. So you might want to sit in engineering or in accounting, and it's just a matter of preference. The system will try to do its best to assign the right desk to you if it will be possible, or any other if it won't be possible. Okay, so now I'm the owner of Fran's desk. So let's check what does it mean. You can see that the header is all green now, and the meaning is that no one can actually pick that table, and I'm already having that table reserved, so I don't need to do anything by default, but I can decide, or I know that I want to be there at the office, so I click there. So as you see, as a normal user, the only action is just clicking on the header with dates, and I just click there and it set me out of office for that day, which means that the system, the day before, it will compute who will pick which desk. Can use also and share my table, so you can assign my table to anyone else who needs a place where to sit. Yeah, and that's mainly it. And the few things that I forgot. So now we covered that owner part, which is helpful. You can even, as you saw in the settings, you can even combine shareable desks or parking spaces that have no owner. Then you can have some that have owner, like CEO can have their own parking space that's reserved for them all the time. But the last thing which we defined in our requirements, that we need something for a super user, because there might be people coming to your office, foreign people, and you just need to ensure that they will have their parking space and some particular desk probably in your office. So this is done with this button, and this button actually opens a lot of hidden buttons with actions you can do over anything, over any records. So now, for example, for tomorrow, okay, we just moved the day, so we are now, like, for us today, or already reserved day is Monday, and then the non-reserved day The first one is Tuesday. I can now decide that I want to ensure that Ryan will have his table. So I will click on do a favor, and do a favor just calls the system, and the system will try to assign the table with the preference that actually Ryan has chosen. So, and he was assigned Bob's desk. I can click on assign and actually select from three desks to one actually to that user. I can also click on cancel out of office, which will return the table with owner to back to the, which will put the table to back to the owner. I can even click on kick out, which means that no, he can't sit there and the table will be still free. And I can, and since once anyone kicks you out, or you will click on the give up button, you can't do anything with the records. So an admin actually can put you back into game, which means it will make you brown, and even it can make you compete for that day, and it can make you yellow again. The last thing, or last two things, is there is a button that shows all the emails, because email is used there as a user ID. So it might be helpful to just copy one, because there's an on behalf functionality that you can just as an admin say I'm done, and you just set yourself as a done. So you see done is out of office, so this header is actually gray. So you can do all the work now on his behalf. So now if I will click there and on the header, and it will cancel out of office of done. Or I can actually, there will be someone else coming, like external auditor 1, and it's like my favorite auditor company or whatever. And now you can actually do the things on behalf of them. So you will click on the try to make a reservation. So you want them probably to sit in the accounting. So since they are not from your company, they can't even probably use the UI. But as I said, now they also received the email, so they know, and they actually can use the information there to log in into your app. And if they will do it, they will see only this single day in this single calendar, and only with their record. So they will not see any other record, just their own. So they will see in which state it is, which might be handy for parking spaces, because when you are heading to the parking actually, and you don't know where to park, so you can log into the app and you will see, okay, it's number 140. So you can see we have selected a preferred type of desk in our case. We can even just auto-assign the things, and you can see that Bob's desk is actually in accounting, so probably the auditor will be happy that he will sit there. And that's the main things, and that's probably it. So if you made it here, so really congrats, and thanks